A historic indictment of former Cuban President Raul Castro. Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Dimbert. DOJ officials going to the heart of the Cuban-American community in Miami to announce 7 charges against Castro for his alleged role in the shooting down of 2 planes carrying humanitarian aid to Cuba in 1996. 4 U.S. nationals were killed, including the son of my next guests. Miriam de la Peña came to the U.S. as a child, her family in Cuba sending her unaccompanied in search of the American dream. She grew up in New Jersey, and that's where she met her husband, Mario, also a native of Cuba. The couple's 2 sons, born and raised in the U.S., but never losing sight of their cultural ties to their parents' homeland and the suffering of the Cuban people. Their son, Mario de la Peña, was working with the group Brothers to the Rescue when he was allegedly killed at the hands of the Castro regime while trying to deliver aid to Cuba. Yesterday, after 30 painful years, Miriam and Mario were seated next to each other as the acting attorney general finally brought them a step closer to justice for their son.
The DOJ under President Donald Trump has formally indicted former Cuban president Raul Castro. Raul Castro is the brother of Fidel Castro. He's the former Minister of Defense for the island nation of Cuba, and he's in a lot of hot water in what may be the biggest case of retroactive justice in our lifetime.
Tonight, a motorcade winding through the streets of Miami. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on his way to make a major announcement about Cuba. USA! Then, before a cheering crowd of hundreds, Blanche unveiling murder and conspiracy charges against former Cuban President Raul Castro, brother of the late revolutionary dictator Fidel Castro.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
Cuban MiGs shoot down.
Raul Castro is accused of orchestrating the 1996 shoot-down of 2 civilian planes from the humanitarian organization Brothers to the Rescue, a group that searched international waters looking for Cuban refugees trying to flee their homeland. 4 people, including 3 Americans, were on board those planes when Cuba shot them down. At the time, Raul Castro was Cuba's Minister of Defense. Raul Castro took the reins of the Cuban government after the death of his brother Fidel. Now 94 years old, he's been out of office for years, but remains a powerful figure.
What are the prospects that you could get Raul Castro to the United States to face justice? And what steps are the U.S. willing to take to get him back here?
Well, we indict men outside of this country all the time. The reason why we indict somebody is because we want them here to face justice in front of a jury of their peers. So we expect that he will show up here by his own will or by another way.
That raises...
And let me tell you something. If you feel like you've done nothing wrong, why wouldn't you show up? If you feel like you're innocent and the United States of America is just a bully and they're just trying to bully Cuba and force Cuba into capitulation geopolitically, show up. Pull up, as they say, right? And argue your case. You were the leader. You have the records. You have the history and the knowledge to exonerate yourself, right? Also, you're 94 years old. You in the 4th quarter, homie. You ain't got a whole lot to lose. They might not even put you in jail. But he won't show up on his own will because he's a coward. He's a murderous coward like his brother. And I don't like to pass judgment on people, but I think the atrocities committed by the Castros are well documented. And people who fled Cuba and the descendants of the people who fled Cuba, they, more than anyone, are willing to share what they suffered under the Castro regime.
And right now in the United States, a lot of people think that communism and socialism is the way to go. What would be your message to them? Because they think capitalism has failed them. Mucha gente en los Estados Unidos ahora creen que comunismo y socialismo es la manera de donde deberíamos ir.
No.
Eso es lo peor. ¿Qué sería su mensaje a ellos?
Lo peor que tú puedes hacer en la vida es pasar al socialismo, al comunismo, porque es la gran mierda. No existe el que te vea la miseria.
Today is the day, after 30 years, that 94-year-old Raul Castro gets indicted. What does that mean for you?
Excellent. It's time for that. We do need something like that to happen continuously. That guy has killed so many people, not only 30 years ago, but since way 59, he's been killing people. So he's a murderer. He should not be anything connected to any government, not only in Cuba, anywhere else. And I think that a lot of us are going to be extremely happy if he is indicted and brought here. Obviously, I don't know how far he's going to get here. They won't be able to bring him to Miami because they'll get rid of him. Apparently, the guy is not only a commie, he is also a murderer.
I do want to bring in Oscar Fernandez here with me.
Nice.
He left Cuba in 1961 when you were just 15 years old.
That is correct.
Tell me about what today means in the news of the indictment of Raul Castro.
It means some justice for the Cuban people. For 67 years, I'm sorry, we have been ignored by everybody, the United Nations, the Organization of American States, the European Union, everybody. So we hope this is the beginning of the downfall of the Castro regime. I'm sorry, little emotional. And
I mean, listen to this older gentleman here. Even all these years later, he's getting choked up and emotional thinking about what the Castro brothers did to the people of Cuba. You can't make this up. You can't fake that. That's a grown-ass man crying on camera. National news. Just remembering what these bastards did. And you have people who celebrate these monsters as if they were some type of heroes. Cuba used to be a vibrant island, a vacation destination. People went there to have fun, honeymoons, weddings, vacations. Now it's like, it's just a hellhole. It's really sad.
We're ready to go back and help in the reconstruction of our country.
Okay.
With work, with money, with investment, and with love. That has been lacking in Cuba for the last 6 decades.
That's real right there. That's real sentiment right there. That's real emotion right there. And he says we want to go back and rebuild our country with love. He's not a warmonger. He's not someone who's a political opponent of the Castros and just wants to enter in as a dictator. That is a regular, everyday Cuban American, a proud Cuban American, our brother under the banner of this great country. And he's telling you that he was wronged and he needs justice. And it is literally the president of the United States' job to make sure he gets that. But as you know, here comes the wokies. Can't call them brokies because they're making a lot of money off this grip. But here come the wokies to tell that man that his experience is bullcrap and he's lying. Can't tell him why he would lie, but he's lying. You fled Cuba because you just love fleeing. You fled your homeland because you just wanted to go somewhere else and hang out, minimizing these people's experience to maximize their ability to play victim. They're the victims. He's not a victim. They're really the victims.
Cuba was nice, and today we started to see what that really means. Today, the United States government officially indicted Raul Castro. In a base that, rightly so, and I understand, holds a lot of different mixed emotions and a lot of political trauma. A lot of people that were political prisoners, that fled, that are exiles, and that in Trump, in this move, many believe that they are somehow closer to a free Cuba than they were before.
The U.S. has no right to starve the people there, embargo the people there, terrorize the people there, go in and take it over. The U.S. has no fucking right. It is so disgusting. I have to say, it's so fucking disgusting. It's beautiful that 7 or 8 million people came out for No Kings. It's really good that they stood against Trump in some way. But it is so disgusting that people are protesting about us and our country and ignoring the violence that this country is inflicting on the rest of the world. This country should have shut the country down. When Trump went in and kidnapped Maduro, fucking goes in and kidnaps a head of state and takes him on and locks him up in fucking Brooklyn and says, I'm going to run your country. This country should have been shut the fuck down.
Right. Destroy America because America is holding people accountable for the things they've done to hurt Americans. See, these people are totally out of touch with reality. The DOJ wouldn't go live under President Donald Castro's. She wouldn't go live under Nicolas Maduro, former Cuban president. Raul Castro. Enjoys her liberties and Raul Castro is so much so Fidel Castro used them to shut down the government. Former wouldn't it be Minister of Defense? Don't you believe that the island nation of Cuba and Venezuela would love to have the ability to do that? And what being victimized by their government? Why don't we just take a poll of among Cubans justice and say, hey, do you think Trump should go in and get Raul Castro and bring him to justice? Let them decide. They're Americans too. Let's use democracy. The majority of them would say, go do it right now. The same with Venezuelans. The majority would say, go do it right now. But see, democracy only applies to these people when it benefits them. Let's get into this right here. This is what's going on in Cuba right now. And they're saying it's caused by Trump. It's not.
Engulfed in darkness, Havana's residents rely on the headlights of vehicles to make out the city's streets.
Living in darkness.
It is Cuba's third major power outage this month, as Trump's blockade on energy imports to the island continued to put strain on the lives of citizens. In the country's capital, residents share their exasperation.
We're stuck in the same rut, twice a week cooking with firewood. It's absolute madness. Solution is unlikely. We've been stuck in this same situation for 60 years.
20 tons of humanitarian aid arrived in Havana on Friday, including sorely needed medical supplies, food, water, and solar panels.
Did you hear what this young man said? The one who just spoke? He said, we've been dealing with this for 60 years. But they want you to believe that this is happening because of a naval blockade by the United States of America. These people have been living in suffering, living in darkness, cooking over open wood fire since the Castro brothers took over. Cuba used to be a wealthy country. Wealthy. And guess what? All of a sudden, they're plunged into poverty. And you know whose fault that is? That's Donald Trump's fault. That's the United States of America's fault. No, Cuba was backed by Russia. The United States wasn't doing anything to Cuba. They weren't able to embargo them, per se, to any real level. Oh, we've been dealing with this for 60 years, but it's Trump's fault for the last month. Come on, man. That doesn't make sense.
But with no oil imports entering the country since early January, the aid is a drop in the ocean in comparison to the country's needs. Fears of a potential US invasion of Cuba are mounting. Earlier in the week, Trump said he believed he would have the honor of taking the island. In response, President Miguel Díaz-Canel said the island will be prepared to defend itself.
We recognize that there may be an aggression on Cuba, and we have launched a plan to enhance our readiness to defend our people.
These guys always have the money for war, and we can be prepared to defend our people. Well, you're prepared to defend them, but why aren't you prepared to feed them and protect them and make sure they have their basic human needs met? Oh, because we can steal and get away with it as long as we can blame it on the United States. But Marco Rubio, our wonderful Secretary of State, he is not having it. Marco Rubio is letting the Cuban people know your suffering is not being caused by the United States. It is being caused by your corrupt government. Let's tap in to his speech. On a day like today in 1902, the Cuban flag flew for the first time over an independent country. But I know that today, you who call the island your home are going through unimaginable hardships. I want to share with you the truth about the reason for their suffering. And I want to tell you what we, the United States, are offering to help you. Not only alleviate the current crisis, but also build a better future. The reason you are forced to survive 22 hours a day without electricity is not due to an oil blockade by the United States. As you know better than anyone, you have been suffering from blackouts for years. The real reason you don't have electricity, fuel, or food is because those who control your country have plundered billions of dollars, but nothing has been used to help the people. 30 years ago, Raul Castro founded a company called GESA. This company is owned and operated by the armed forces and has revenues 3 times greater than your current government's budget. Today, while you suffer, these businessmen have $18 billion in assets and control 70% of Cuba's economy. They profit from hotels, construction, banks, stores, and even from the money your relatives send you from the United States. Everything passes through their hands. From those remittances, they retain a percentage, but from GESA profits, nothing reaches you. Instead of using the money like all other countries in the world, they depended on free oil from Hugo Chavez and Maduro to keep the money. But now that the free oil has stopped coming, they buy fuel for their generators and their vehicles while the people are asked to sacrifice. Instead of using the money to maintain and modernize the damaged power plants, they use the money to build more hotels for foreigners and to send their relatives to live in luxury in Madrid and even here in the United States. Today, Cuba is not controlled by any revolution. Cuba is controlled by GESA, a state within a state that is accountable to no one and hoards the profits from its businesses for the benefit of a small elite. And the only role played by the so-called government is to demand that you continue making sacrifices and repressing anyone who dares complain. So you can see right there. And if you want to see the whole thing, go to his Twitter account, his X account. But you see right there, the people on the ground in Cuba know what's going on. And anyone who has the sense that a dog's got knows what's going on. How are you bringing in billions in profits with a privately owned company in a socialist, communist country? But it's always like that. Go to any so-called communist country, and you will see that there are privately owned entities that are allowed to exist in that country who are bringing in huge profits, and none of that money is reaching the people. That money is being spread out among the elite. Did you know that in China, the shrine of communism in the world, did you know that 96% of the businesses are privately owned? 96%. So while they lie to you, oh, communism, they know very well that no country can survive with communism as its economic engine. No country can survive off that. So they lie and scream the word communism. Yeah, we're a communist country. But in reality, they're practicing capitalism. Just like Raul Castro with GESA. He's a capitalist, but he presided over a dictatorship that held people hostage under the oppression of communism. Communism is only good enough for the Cuban people. Communism is not good for the Castro family. They love capitalism, and it's always been this way. But guys, thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. I hope this added value to your day. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you're at work or school, wherever, I hope it helped you get through. Hope it helped you. I hope this helped you get through that hour or that 30 minutes that was dragging. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.